here we have our batter. And you always want to make sure you scrape the bottom of the pan, especially in the corners. You want to make sure you don't have any pockets of flour that haven't been mixed in completely. And so, now comparing this recipe to the, see, like there's a little ball of flour that didn't get mixed in. The capitalist brownies with the chocolate chips that I just made, that is a really easy recipe to do. This is a more complicated recipe. Getting the brown butter or beurre noisette is time consuming, and then you can't like walk away and stop this. You have to keep stirring. And, you know, this is more labor intensive. So I'm not putting any chocolate chips in it. This is really very silky smooth and delicious the way it is. So what we're gonna do now is I've got to fill up these little cavities. So the oven's at 325. We're gonna fill up the cavity right to the top. The brownies don't really rise. So I think I'm gonna use the cookie scoop to help me do that. So I've got this cookie scoop, it's about a tablespoon, and I'm just gonna squeeze that in and get all of these. Now, I do recall that I smoothed it off with an offset. Now this is the type of activity that's fun to do. So if you've got brothers or sisters or little kids around and you want them to keep occupied and have something to do, this is the thing that they can do. They can spread it to the corners and smooth it out with the offset, or they can scoop with this. So obviously this is a good thing to do when everybody's in school and we have class and we have a whole bunch of people with a job to do. But I'm thinking that, you know, obviously it would be easier just to dump it into the into the half sheet pan, spread it and pop it in the oven. So this may not be labor intensive when it's involving cutting the brownies, but it certainly is labor intensive getting it into the compartments. So I think maybe I'll stop now, put it into the half sheet pan and get it in the oven and bake it. So I'll have a couple that are heart shaped and the rest I'm gonna do as a half sheet pan. Here we go. So I'm gonna just spread this out. I've put all of the brownie batter onto our half sheet pan with a silpat, and I'm using this offset to spread it. We want to spread it all into the corners and we want to get it nice and even. I did finish this row, so I will put in those. So we'll have some heart-shaped brownies, but the rest of them will be in the sheet pan. And this will take about 25 minutes in a 325 degree oven. And again, we're going to insert the paring knife to make sure it's done. So let me keep spreading this all out and then I'll get in the oven. I spread it all around nice and evenly. I also tapped it a couple times to make it flat and level. And now we're gonna get it into our 325 degree oven. The brownies have been in for 10 minutes and I'm going to rotate the sheet pan so that way it can bake evenly. So we're gonna just turn this around. And you can see it's still extremely wet looking. It's very glossy. So it definitely needs to be in a lot longer. So I'm gonna set the timer for another 10 minutes and check it at that point. Okay, the timer's gone off. It's our 10-minute mark. Let's check these. They're getting there. All right, so I'm gonna set the timer for 3 minutes and then I'll check it after 3 minutes. Hold on, let me feel this. Yeah, it's still very moist under there. Okay, let's test it. I'm gonna put the paring knife in. Oh, it came out perfectly clean. That means it's done. I can get these out of the oven. I'm gonna put them on top of the oven to cool. And now I'm gonna put in the little heart ones and get those baking. So I'm gonna keep that at the front of the oven. And again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll check after 10 minutes, rotate it. Okay, we got the brownies in the oven. Oh, I put away my, there we go, pot holder. Let's see how they are. So now they look good. Now let's double check that they're done though. I'm gonna put the paring knife in. We're gonna look for, make sure it comes out without any, came out clean. It's done. So that was not as long as the half sheet pan. These bake faster because they're individual. And that was only about 17 minutes. So let's get these. Actually 18 minutes at 325. So there we go. Let them cool off. All right, here they are. They've cooled off. Here's one that I poked. And this is how you remove them. You just simply push from the bottom and out they come. And ta-da. Now, it's nice to drizzle it with some white chocolate and make the design look nice, but this is good for Valentine's Day. And let me take a bite. So good. So these are brownies, and I tripled the batch. So we had 12 ounces of butter, 30 ounces of sugar, 7.5 ounces of cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of water, 6 eggs, and 9.45 ounces of all-purpose flour. I always like to get the measurements in cups as well for anybody at home. So in the original recipe, it was 4 ounces of butter, 1 1/4 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of water, 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, 2 large eggs, and 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And these are delicious. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll make these at home. Take care, everybody. Bye.